right, we are here with Darrita Davis, who is a part of the Big Love Network board. Though before then was somebody that I was doing a lot of organizing with on the east side. Darrita, can you explain your relationship to the east side?
Yes, I was born and raised on the east side of Akron. Um, I went to Glover Goodrich Garfield, and so those are schools that are highly known in East Akron. I was a majorette for the Akron Evanettes, and we used to practice in a small building each, which was the East Akron Community House, but it was on like Fourth and Robert Street. I'm kind of my area is a little off, but it's where the highway is now. So before each went to Arlington Street, it was a small looking church, and that's where we practiced at. So I was part of the Labor Day parade. Me, myself, my cousins. Um, it's just a feeling. The East Side. I've always wanted to be in East Akron. I've always lived in East Akron. Even after leaving for college and coming back, I had to move back to the East Side. So born and raised, born and bred. All my family, my elders, still stay in East Akron. Yeah, so I just love East Akron. It's Akron, but it's always East Akron first.
And so, how long would you say that like your family's been in the neighborhood?
So my uncle just moved actually to Stowe. They're getting older, so he was 90. He had a 90 year. He turned 90, so that was October of last year, and so they moved actually in October of last year. So if he got to Akron probably in the late 50s.
So your family's been there since the 50s.
The 50s.
Right?
Yes, and so not only did through the Great Migration did my folks from my dad's folks come here from Georgia. Also in that migration, my grandmother and my grandfather came from Alabama. So somehow in that mix, my mother and father met each other, and the reason that my brother, actually my dad's brother, came to Akron is because of jobs. So they came here, and he came first. So I think from Georgia, he went to Tennessee. From Tennessee, he came. Somebody was coming up here to Akron. He came to Akron. He said there's a lot of jobs in Akron. The rubber industry is booming. Hey, so he came first, and then his other brothers came. So it was like five of the brothers and a sister that came here for jobs.
And so one of the things I've come across in like my research around companies that are in East Akron or were in East Akron, right, is that there was a lot of like single-use plastic industry that really got started in Akron in the 1950s. So it's interesting your family's been there the entire time.
Yeah. My dad's twin worked for Waste Management. My uncle, who just turned 90, he retired from Goodyear. My dad worked for Babcock and Wilcox. My other uncle worked for General Tires, and one of their wives that worked for General Tires up until General Tires moved to Cincinnati, Ohio, and she actually moved to Cincinnati, Ohio with the
them.
plant. Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And what do you love about your home and work and of the neighborhood?
It's always been community. I can remember walking home from school. I mean, a lot of us were latchkey kids. We had our key around our neck, but we always felt safe. There was always a mixed split of individuals. So there were middle class families, working class families, black, white. Also, people looked out for one another. They looked out for each other's children. Um, you couldn't do anything wrong without somebody knowing that you did something wrong. Somebody got a call, and people were able to talk to your children without feeling like or children feeling fear or anything. You could actually chastise me as a kid. You didn't have to be my direct parent or anything like that. So just community, neighborhood. There were block parties, our parades, just being a part of like just the majorette band. That was a sense of family. It was over 100 kids. Miss Gladys started something. Miss Gladys Henderson started something years ago, and it felt so good to participate in the 50th reunion for the Labor Day Parade last year. And to see that there were some of the oldest groups, which was the Ebonettes and the Alcap were still there, and people actually waited. We were the last in the parade, and they actually waited because they wanted to see the original groups, like they wanted to see the foundation, and to have the elders behind us from the Alcap stepping in their hats and stuff. That it was powerful, and it just, I mean, I'm getting chills thinking about it because I can remember being 4 years old and how that long stretch it seemed so short, this past Labor Day, but it was so long. Remember my little legs walking up that street and having my mom beside me spraying us with the water bottles, keeping us cool, and being able to get in the van and stuff to cool off. So just remembering those times, and then having those festivals at Jory Park after the parade. So no drama, no fighting like that. None of that was heard of. Just even raising money and stuff to have these events, having fundraisers. I remember we would have fundraisers at the skating rink and stuff like that, so that she can buy us new uniforms. And every group, every organization participated in fundraisers, and people still do that to this day.
So people were able to like really look out for each other.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that was because this is a historically redline neighborhood where people didn't really get a lot of chances to like move out of the neighborhood and have the capital move out.
Right.
Do you think that was kind of like part of that? Do you think that things would have been different if development had been different in the neighborhood? I'm sorry, this is gonna be longer.
It's crazy because it seems like I didn't really. These things wasn't a concern to me as a kid, or did I not know about these things? Because the neighborhood looked the same. Everybody was kind of on the same level. You had working class families. You had families that were struggling, but you wouldn't be able to see that, because if someone's water got shut off, somebody was coming with their buckets to get some water. Somebody's electricity got shut off, we were making it happen. Hey, such and such got to stay here for a couple days. Their family is in need of help. You took people in. You didn't judge. So maybe and I'm trying to remember.
When did that change?
I don't know if it may change for some, because some of the where I currently live, people in my neighborhood has been there for 30 years. Like, it's only 4 renters on my street. Everyone else really on my block, just really in my little block between Baird and McKinley. Those folks have been there.
Think it's like a lot of the renters.
Maybe
it has changed some of the culture of the neighborhood.
Maybe, but I always felt like East Side people have always kind of stayed East Side.
Yeah.
And even around the corner from me.
So like even the renters are still renting from the same.
But I guess people in the baby boomers, which would have been my mom's, if she was my mom and dad, they were still they still own the homes in the neighborhood. Mm-hmm. So around the corner from me, 3 of my childhood friends live in their parents' home. Mm-hmm. So they're still there. Like I said, my uncle just moved, so he was 2 streets down. That's on my dad's side. That's 3 streets down. 2 streets down from me currently, my 76-year-old uncle lives there. That's my mom's brother. A block over from him is my aunt, who is 74. She lives there. I have an 83 aunt who lives in Middlebury. So, and there's so many other families that's still around Jory Park that still live there. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of history.
So in that history, have you noticed, because Akron's pretty small, right? Like it's not like people in one neighborhood only ever stay in that neighborhood. We all talk with each other in some regard. Do you feel like that you've noticed in East Akron any like more health concerns than like your friends that live in other areas of the city?
It's kind of it's my parents, all 3 of my parents. So my stepfather as well. So my mom died of breast cancer. My dad died of esophagus cancer, and my stepfather died of pancreatic cancer. Now, being that my father mainly worked in the in the industries, in the car molding industries, he may have experienced some of his health issues may have led from those things. Um, I have heard of folks saying that they have been directly impacted by some of the health, some of the conditions and the environmental conditions in Akron. I have not. I don't know if I've really seen that directly from my family, but I was not really involved, or did I even have the education to even know or put these things together to even connect my parents to to cancer or environmental issues that may have led to their cancer.
Right.
So I mean, we were in East Akron almost, I mean, basically all of their lives. They were in East Akron, even my dad. And then when he retired, he was already sick. So years of working in the plants. So that could have led to some of his health issues. And I do recall another family member who worked in the plants as well and lived in East Akron developed CPOD. And so he was telling me to make sure that I made some kind of connection, or even even to find out if some of those things were causing my dad his issues before he passed. And so there's a lot of education that needs to be done, because I think people just don't know,
Yeah.
or they can't connect those
Well,
things
and
to
our
the environment.
medical industry really gaslights people around what they're experiencing, and so it's like you have this condition. It could be anything, but you live right next to a bunch of plants that are like exponentially throwing benzene all over the place, and dioxins and vinyl chloride, like we know that's coming out of Altera. Um, uh, how do you feel like your daily life is like impacted now that you're starting to put those pieces of the puzzle together?
Well, I'm definitely concerned about my health and the health of my family, but to actually witness, to see the smoke. I was probably coming from Cuyahoga Falls, and to see that smoke coming from that
From the SMP
from
fire?
that September 6th incident, explosion. To actually see that, and then to know, as I've gotten closer, that it was actually closer to my neighborhood, and just then to start receiving the calls. Then going into that neighborhood and talking to folks, that directly impacted me, because I felt that our city should have did a better job by making sure those people were safe. Evacuating them for the time period that they did is concerning. Listening to a mother say that her kids were traumatized because of the rats and the mice that were trying to enter their apartment. They had never experienced anything like that, and why should they? And so to hear this mom say that she had to sleep in the car, and then she was going to do whatever she had to do to find somewhere else for her and her children to relocate, is like, okay, we know that Akron is resource rich, and we know that we could have provided a better option for those individuals that live in that area. So, educating ourselves more on environmental issues, because we are directly impacted. People are directly, impacted by it, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because we can do better.
Right.
So now we're in a position to do better. Let's do better. We have to educate our communities. We have to hold individuals accountable to make sure that we are taking care of our residents, and then we have to find some better solutions to the problems. And so, we're in the right direction, and so I'm going to continue to be in this
How
fight.
did it feel to go? So you were a part of the community toxins tour that we did,
Right.
and then we went to Altera. You did not go into Altera.
I did not.
Can you speak a little bit to what that entire experience was like for you?
So the tour itself, I believe it was a powerful tour, just to really take people around the community to see how close these incinerators are to neighborhoods, and how unsafe and unsanitary that it actually looks. And so just to view that, but then also to view the individuals that started these organizations, these agencies, these companies, and to see where they currently have their museums and have their homes, or where the homes the property that they still own, and to know that you would rather put these plants within city limits and within urban communities is mind boggling, because it's like
Because a lot of them are from the suburbs.
right. And so it feels as though we have to do, it's so much work that has to be done, but then that part of just letting other people see that there are similar places across the country that's like this. And so they did, when they did this tour, Akron was the last stop. And so, but just to take, and I think what needs to happen too, I think that we need to take more people in Akron to see these things. Like we need to do more direct canvassing initiatives to let people know, more education initiatives. And so I think that is the disconnect right there. But going to Altera, even though I didn't go in, and you know we don't have to get into that, but
No, you tell us why you felt like you didn't want to.
well, I felt as if me going in and seeing the the plant wouldn't change my perspective of how I feel about them being here. No, I wasn't worried about me inhaling anything or getting sick, but then I also felt as if our city, the people who could really make some, and we're gonna make a difference, but the people who could do some proactive change or do something now should have been present. So I just feel like it wouldn't change my perspective of them being here and what they do and what they represent. Had I went in.
How did you feel as you saw people come out?
Well, you know, I can't, what I saw was a couple people, were short of breath. A couple people had to sit down, they needed water. I don't know.
Going through a 20-minute tour.
Yeah, and so that was a quick tour for you to feel nauseous or not well,
Dizzy.
unwell, or dizzy when you come out of a plant to visit something that is supposed to be safe.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Altera makes the neighborhood safe?
No, I mean they directly sit across from two daycare centers, I believe. There is one daycare center there and some other businesses. So no, if an explosion if an explosion happens at Altera, just like it happened at the other location, not too far away from it, a couple blocks down, how would it damage the community? Would that community be destroyed? I mean, what would actually happen? How far would those toxins and pollutions come back into our city? Coming back into the neighborhoods, the water stream, from what I'm hearing. So to me, I think the disconnect with all of this and getting more people involved is going to be us doing a lot more educational, informational type events, meetings, but it is most likely going to take some door knocking, because a lot of times the right people aren't in the room. And so even if we host something in these neighborhoods, like have an event at Rosemary,
the reality is that people are so bogged down with just trying to survive right now.
And you gotta make it fun.
You know,
you make it fun.
Yeah.
You turn it into a community thing, but then you have an educational component, because I don't think that there is enough people who actually know what's going on.
So I want to close this out on a positive. What do you have hope for? What gives you hope right now?
What gives me hope is that there is some serious proposals on the table that can benefit Akron and specifically Ward 5. I believe there is some powerful individuals at the table who are very who have made a strong commitment to the work, and I feel confident that we're going to get what we need and want. It may not be right now, but I believe I believe that it's going to happen because we are consistent, and we're going to put it in the people's face that it needs to be put in. So my hope is that everything that we want, we will get, and it's going to take strength. It's going to take our numbers. There's strength in numbers, and the power can be in the people. So
Sorry, that needed to be a little bit longer. I need those like
But you
history
can always
pieces.